Hi, it's Lisa and Krista, and welcome to our channel, Farmhouse Roscoe. And today we are making 4 Farmhouse Valentine's Day DIYs. DIY number 1 is a farmhouse love sign. We're going to start off with making a heart template out of poster board. And we got some of the wood value packs at Dollar Tree that have all the little popsicle sticks and different shapes in it. And we took the smallest little pieces of wood that was in that pack and we started laying them out on our heart template and just filling up the whole space. As we was going along and hot gluing the little sticks into place, we just let them hang over the edge of the template until we got it as full as we wanted it, and then went back with some wire cutters or scissors and just trimmed around to the shape of the heart. And we just kept doing this with each layer until we got it to look the way we wanted it to. Next, we took some clothespins that came in the same value pack, and we just took them apart and stained them with some antique wax. We're going to use these clothespins to make the L, the B, and the E for our love sign. And we're going to let the antique wax dry, and then we're going to take some white chalk paint and give it a light coat to make it look distressed. Next, we're going to take 2 of the home signs and we're going to peel off the front part where it says home. And I'm not worried about it being rough or uneven because I think it's just going to give it a more rustic, unfinished look. And I wanted to use that side because it already has like little lines, grooves that go throughout the sign that kind of give it a shiplap look. And now we're just going to take some big popsicle sticks and glue them to the back to hold the sign together. Now we're going to give the front of the sign a coat of ink by Waverly. Now we're going to give our heart a coat of red chalk paint. I really liked the way the heart turned out. It gave it a very textured look by layering all the tiny little sticks. And here's where we gave the clothespin a light coat of the white chalk paint. Once everything was dried, I just glued the clothespins and the heart into place to spout out love, and then took some white chalk paint and distressed the sides and the front of the sign. And this is how it turned out. DIY number 2 is a farmhouse red truck wreath. We're going to start this DIY with a heart wreath form and an Infinity Valentine's Day striped scarf. First, we covered the wreath form with some quilt batting, but you could use any kind of material that you have on hand. It's just so you can't see the wires through the scarf because it is very thin material. And it took about 2.5 strips of quilt batting to completely cover the heart, and we just hot glued it into place. Now that the heart is covered, we took the infinity scarf and we just laid it out in a circle, and then we laid the heart in the middle, and then the inside of the scarf we just pulled it up over the edges of the heart so the front and the back met. Next, we took some of the red and white twine that we had from Christmas and a plastic needle, and then we just did a loose blanket stitch all around the heart. We're also going to add in the middle of the bows some of these little foam hearts that we got from Dollar General. Next, we're going to take some Dollar Tree ribbon with the little hearts on it, and we're going to make us an 8-loop bow. We're going to fold it over 4 times so that we have 4 loops on each side of the bow. Now we're going to take the folded over ribbon and fold it in half, and then we're going to make little slits on each side of the bow. And then we're going to cut another piece of ribbon that's probably 4 or 5 inches longer on each side, and we're going to put it behind the ribbon that we folded over. And now we're just going to take a piece of the red and white twine and tie those 2 pieces together. And then we're just going to start pulling the loops from the inside, pulling them out and kind of giving them a twist and fluffing them as we go until we get all 8 loops pulled out and fluffed. And then we dovetailed the end of the tails. We decided to add this XO ribbon to our little fringy bows, and then we just attached the little foam hearts to the center, and then we just hot glued them to the wreath. And we also just glued the large bow into place. Next, we're going to attach our little red truck sign that we got from Dollar General. It has a wire attached to it, and we just fed the wire through the hole and then hot glued it to the back of the heart. And here is how it turned out. DIY number 3 is Rustic Farmhouse Wood Heart Set. For this DIY, we're going to use another one of the heart wreath forms, but we're going to cut it apart and make 3 separate wire hearts. We will be using the small and the medium heart in this DIY, and then in the last DIY, we will use the large heart. Sometimes when you cut these heart forms apart, some of the hearts will come apart. We just took some duct tape and duct taped them back together. We're going to be gluing some of the tumbling tower blocks to the wire form so that it has something more substantial to hold on to. With the hot glue, we're going to take and wrap the whole heart with some twine. Now we're going to glue 2 layers of the blocks onto the heart. And we're going to just repeat the same process with the other heart. Now we're going to take 6 of the little wood hearts that came in the value pack, and we're going to give them a coat of white chalk paint. This next part we lost the footage for, but we took some black chalk paint, watered it down, and stained both hearts. Now we're going to attach twine to the top and the bottom of the small little white hearts. And we're going to attach the twine on all 6 hearts. Now we're just going to attach the hearts that's on the string to the larger hearts. And here's how they turned out. DIY number 4 is a farmhouse flower wreath. And we're going to start with the large wire heart from the wreath form and 1 package of the white nautical rope. And we just went ahead and wrapped the white rope around the heart to see how much we would need. With the rope being so thick, it didn't take very long, and it only took 1 package, and we had a little bit left. And then we just went back to the beginning and we just tightened the rope as we went, hot gluing it as we went to hold it into place. Next, we're going to use this paper twist ribbon that we found at Dollar Tree in the Christmas section, and we're going to untwist it into like sheets, and then we're going to make paper flowers out of it. The first flower that we're going to make, we're going to use a wood circle from the value pack of wood, and we're just going to take some twine, start in the center, and just glue it into place and make a spiral pattern. And then we're going to take 6 pieces of the twisted paper ribbon, but we're not going to untwist it for this flower. And then we're going to cut them about 5 inches, and then we're just going to form them into petal shapes, and then we're just going to glue them onto the wood circle that we covered in twine. And when you're done gluing them all into place, it should look kind of like a daisy. And we just made 2 of those. Once we got the petals glued into place, we did take another wood circle and glue it on top in the middle just to hold everything into place. The next 2 flowers we're going to take and untwist the ribbon so that we can make the petals. Once we got the ribbon all untwisted and flat, I folded it over 8 times to make 8 petals for the first flower, and then I took another piece and folded it over 5 times to make petals for the other flower. The first one, I just made the petal shapes kind of more rounded at the bottom and pointed toward the top. And then the other flower, I just did the opposite. I made it more of a round petal with a point at the bottom. And here you can see that I have all the petals cut out. I have 8 of the pointed petals for the first flower and then 5 of the rounded petals for the next flower. On the first flower with the 8 petals, I'm just going to take the rounded end and I'm just going to pinch it together and put a little dot of hot glue there and let the pointed part kind of flare out. And I'm going to do that with all 8 petals. And the end with the hot glue, I just kind of trim that off a little bit because when we glue them beside each other, it gives them a little more room to form a round flower. And you can see here I'm just adding a little hot glue on the sides of the petals, and then I'm just sticking them to the next petal, and I'm just continuing around until I've used all 8 petals. And for the center of the flower, I'm just doing the same thing as I did with the first one, taking the little round wood piece and adding the twine in a spiral pattern to make the center of the flower. And the last flower, we're just going to go through the same process, taking the petals, pinching them, putting a little glue to hold them together, and then gluing the sides of the petal to one another until it forms a flower. The only thing we did different with this flower, when we took the little wood piece, we ended up using some of the white twine for the center instead of the regular brown twine. And here is all the flowers finished. We just made 2 of each kind. And then we're just gonna lay them out on our heart and decide where we want to put them. And once we decide where we want to put them, we're just going to hot glue them into place. And here is how it turned out. I think this is so beautiful. Thank you for joining us today. If you're already subscribed to our channel, thank you for your support. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, please consider doing so. Every subscriber, comment, and like helps our channel to grow and for YouTube to notice us a little bit more. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share this video with your friends. Talk to you guys next time. Bye for now.